Okay, like I'm gonna start saying, pretty much, in all my future playthroughs. Anyone watching on YouTube, welcome. We're continuing our adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video, and then also check out our Twitch and come hang out for a little bit. Catch us live and all that stuff. There are other links down below where you guys can also follow us on Discord and all that other stuff. But with that, let's jump right into our game and continue where we left off. Which, I'm trying to remember, where did we leave off? Silas claims that he took up the bounty hunting as a way of financing his pursuit in his remaining quarry, Roscoe Bob Bryant. So we're going after Roscoe Bob Bryant, I think.
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different.
Okay, that's where we left off. Now I remember. You didn't even give me a moment.
I was there with the intention of finding
God
that
damn it.
bastard Bob and collecting a bounty on John.
We gotta get our
Wesley.
skills back. Give me a second here. I'm just warming up. Damn it. Is there a good chance I can do the quick fire thing? Alright, we're fine. We kind of pulled it off. Yeah, not get him.
I thought the Texas Rangers got hardened.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was cold in a witch's tit and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres.
Well, that's a picture.
The very same saloon we're sitting in today.
What even damaged me there? Alright, so we got some stuff here. Fastest gun. Fast and pick up your turret faster. Your speed aiming weapon will be increased by 30%. I'm cool with that. Grenade throw, shoot. Yes, more concentration.
Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me. Wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here. Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. Most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Arden's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Wait a minute, that's not my gun. Oh, secret. Old West revolvers. Next to the cowboy hat, the object most often associated with the Wild West is the percussive cap revolver, invented by Samuel Colt in 1836. This revolver, along with the Winchester repeating rifle, was the preferred method for dealing death in the latter parts of the 19th century. The first revolvers were front-loading models. Black powder was inserted into the chamber of the cylinder and then covered with a lead bullet. Rammers were used to keep everything in place. All that was left was to place percussion caps on the opposite end of the cylinder. Because of that, the early revolvers were known as cap locks. With the cap and the ball inserted separately, Colt Patterson and its latter incarnations were examples of the design philosophy. This included the Walker, the Dragoon, the 1851 Navy Wild Bill Hickok used a pair, the Model 1860 Army, and others. The Remington Model 1858 was a unique design because it allowed for the replacement of empty cylinders for loaded ones in the midst of a fight. Later models used the integrated cartridges as ammunition, eliminating the need to load each component separately. The Smith & Wesson Model 3 was such a design. One of its variants is known as a Schofield revolver, and so were Colt's more advanced products. Revolvers also evolved from single action, where the cylinder had to be rotated by manually cocking the gun. It's so-called double action, where the trigger mechanism would also cock the gun and turn the cylinder with a single motion. One thing remained unchanged throughout the history of the Wild West. In the hands of a skilled gunman, revolvers were deadly weapons. Oh, there we go. That was weird. It changed my gun, and then when I changed the gun, it brought it back. That's so weird. What the hell? What? I dodged it! Okay, sure.
Better 3 hours early than a minute too late.
Damn it! Shoot that son of a bitch! Shoot him! That's right. Run!
This is not my gun. Alright, whatever. I was definitely dodging, but I guess I dodged to the wrong side?
Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. As most of them were wanted as well. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcome presence.
Did that asshole just kill Red?
Tell Hardin someone's coming for him.
Stop that sumbitch! Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I don't even know where he shot me from.
I wondered if Bob was among them. And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better. Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story. I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration. I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me. I felt a certain hostility.
Woo!
You better hide. Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
First kill at 15, kill the nymph for snoring, 40 more for breathing.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline, or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. No, wait! He didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
God damn it. Oh my god. This is tough. I need to get it higher. Damn it. Pretty sure we need to be like in the 80s almost. Oh my god, I didn't hit any of those shots? Like, what the hell?
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
Nope.
No, wait! He didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
Maybe I have to just dodge him? What? I definitely dodged that. Alright. I don't know what the trick is with this guy, but whatever I'm doing is not working for some weird reason.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Really? Made me go through all that trouble just to tell me that the guy got shot in the back.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, Did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Grey Wolf, episode 5.
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Silas Greaves pursues dangerous outlaws like John Wesley Hardin, hoping they would help lead him to Bryant.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven. Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him. They saw me before I saw them.
Oh, getting shot. Getting shot. Goddamn natives. Just start shooting at somebody, no warning.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
What's up, Lazy Cat? How you doing? I didn't change my schedule. Right now, my schedule is kind of whenever I can find time. Unfortunately. How you been, by the way? It has been quite some time chasing you around. Yeah. Yeah, and that. Doing good so far. It's good to hear, man. What you been playing lately? Just out of curiosity. You still on the Warframe grind?
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas, and that's why they had retreated there.
Ow. Something shot me. Oh, I'm still getting shot at. Satisfactory Minecraft. DOS 2. Vanilla Transfer. Oh, cool, cool. Oh, there you are. How did I not see you before? I played the first game of Divinity. I never got around to playing the second one. I imagine it's much better than the first.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did.
Satisfactory was fun for a while.
Then
I remember
again,
playing that with Ranga for a good while.
I got a lot of those.
Ah! Alright, well... Damn it, I dodged the wrong way. Never played the first one, but the second one's really fun, especially with friends. Oh, are you guys doing like co-op campaign, or are you guys doing like the dungeon master thing? Oh, god damn it. Co-op campaign? Because I know that game also has like a dungeon master thing, so if like if someone wanted to kind of somewhat try to make their own D&D type adventure in there, it's possible. To a degree.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
I thought I killed him already. Whew. Alright. None can hide. Hints about enemies behind you. Spot enemies even beyond your field of vision during concentration marks on the edge of the screen will point to every nearby enemy that you would be normally be able. Okay, cool. That's good. We're getting close. Almost got that better rifle. Warframe, I guess I take a break from it. I mean, I don't blame you on that. Although I heard that they got some new content in there recently. Yeah, we don't have any mess on it. Oh, good, man. It's a good game on its own, I'm sure.
A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Do they... Nah, there's no way they want me to just drop down, do they? Oh, okay. That was my bad. I totally should have jumped there. That man fell hard.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the walls.
Whew. Okay.
How big was this cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars.
Nope, not that way. I just got turned around. Since might have been playing friends, it's really fun to play with, unlike solo or single player.
They thought it was haunted with
Yeah.
the ghosts of those
I
murdered
tend
by
to
the horse soldiers.
find the same enjoyment.
Cave was haunted with dead
Lately I've been
Indian
doing
ghosts.
a lot of 7 Days to Die with Chaos, Papa Crawl, Fader, and Spumby's even been joining us.
To be honest, I
Damn it.
was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
I totally messed up that quick time. I pressed D! I totally pressed D.
How come you know so much about angels?
A few years back, I was married to 2 Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. A soul would have no rainbow. I had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man.
That's not at all what he
Unequaled by any
said.
other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes.
That's not at all
And
what he said.
indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Execute nearby enemies. Deal some headshots without even them aiming. Press and holding Q will eat up all your concentration. In exchange for making nearby enemies. Oh, for execution with perfect shots. The more concentration you sacrifice, the more of them you will die. Ow.
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Usually stream incident. Yeah, today was an early day. The wife had an appointment, so I had to watch the baby today, and yeah, she's home now taking care of the kid and gave me a
I
little bit of
felt
time
like
to
I
start
would
my
be
stream
lost
early.
in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens.
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
It was literally 3 or 4. Oh! He was standing right above me, I didn't even see him. Right now it's past 3 a.m. time zone. It's like, yeah. I know, because you're all the way in Indonesia, so like, it's tough. It's tough to like, catch at the same time. I managed to buy Kingdom of Deliverance during sale. Nice! Purchase the Royal Bundle. Oh, cool. Does that come with all the DLCs, I think, right? I only played the base game. Like, the Royal Bundle, I imagine, is much better. Because I think it has, like, the base building thing, or city building, I guess I should say.
Steep climb up creek ahead of me and
I remember you
scrambled
played
up
the
those
game like
rocks
a long
like a
time. I
mountain
did.
goat.
It was great. It's a
was
game I want to
determined
go back
locate
to and
Grey
do
Wolf
again.
and find out
because of the
exactly what
DLC.
the hell he was trying to tell me.
One day, maybe.
And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not
The
gonna
story
drag
just keeps
this
getting
out.
more ridiculous.
Where were we?
There's only
You were
6.
surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Oh, what the? This is a bit much. Good thing they keep missing.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me.
Just like magic, it just appeared.
But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
He's a werewolf. I didn't realize we were playing Twilight.
Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might
Basically,
malleable, depending upon
The
your point of
edition is
view.
the same discount price.
Like how
Oh,
those
that's
dime
cool.
novels make you out
That's
to be
why not buy
something you're
DLC.
not?
Yeah, exactly.
Jack, don't
No,
be
you made a
starting
good deal.
trouble.
You definitely got a good deal
No,
there.
he's right. They do tend
Smart
to
buy.
exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Grey Wolf, the Apache medicine man, offered Silas a mysterious warning, cautioning him not to wallow in the poison of the bitterness and hate.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. The story was Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
He got us a hero. Put some holes in him.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys.
You guys ready for the fake news?
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait the son of the bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. You went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank.
That rifle's mine.
Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
So, Clive?
From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Oh, I didn't notice that open. Really? On the sofa?
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country
I had
free.
to get off. It's really late for me. You have a good night, Blazecat.
Jim
It was good
Booth,
seeing you
Davy
again, man.
Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Yep, I hope to see you again sometime, man. Don't strain yourself. I know it's pretty late, so... All good. I'll catch you when I catch you, man.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch!
Oh yeah, that hurt.
You rule the day.
The nugget is nearby.
Over there!
Greaves!
What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name is Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Alright, yeah, whatever.
It was early evening, not high noon. The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party, and Coffeyville was already up in arms. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Leader, lover, loser.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. They still had friends in Coffeyville.
Where am I supposed to go? Damn it.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. The problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work. It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
I'm gonna tear you apart. Next time I won't miss. You ain't getting by me, Greaves.
Yeah.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Over the years, Silas Cruz became a famous bounty hunter. His main ambition, however, was to get his revenge on Bob Bryant.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
We'll track him to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
A nugget of truth. Black Bart, Charles Earl Bowles, better known as Black Bart, was undoubtedly among the Wild West's most unusual stagecoach robbers. British by birth, Black Bart was a polite man, known for his manners and refined taste. It is difficult to believe that such a gentleman bandit really operated in California and Oregon in the 1870s and 1880s. Legend has it that at least 2 occasions he left handwritten poems at a scene of the crime. This one is from 1877. I've labored long, hard for bread, for honor and for riches, but on my corn too long you've tread. You fine-haired sons of bitches. Black Bart never lacked personal charm. After getting out of jail, he was asked by a journalist about returning to his criminal ways. He answered with a smile, "No, gentlemen, I'm through with crime." Then another reporter wanted to know if he would write any more poems. Black Bart laughed and replied, "Now, didn't you hear me say that I am through with crime?" He never fired a gun during any of his robberies, and all of them were done with him getting to the crime scene on foot due to his deeply held fear of horses. Interesting.
Bury them in the swamp. Let them where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanted to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
What? Where did that come from?
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Yeah, it says this way.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Dead man. That asshole just killed Red?
Damn it. That's the guy that keeps shooting me. darn it. Good?
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause. Point being, I was under serious attack.
Oh!
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
We good?
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
As if right before his eyes. I love that.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Wait, what? Where did the natives come from?
Indians? They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Alright, that's where we came from. Then we went this way. Got to here. But that way. It's supposed to go this way. So I guess we go this way?
Bounty hunters! Stop that, so
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. but I did find a few of their cousins. Kansas breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Bury him in the swamp. Kill that.
Come on.
What are you gonna do?
All right.
Kill him already. You or me?
Where's the rest of them? Okay.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Ah, this is probably the arena right here.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high. And those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Out of the men that were shooting at something. Oh god, he's shooting at the army that came with him. Darn it, I dodged wrong. Alright, that wasn't easy.
waiting on me.
Hide you, son of a bitch.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Can't do it. I should have used my other thing. Was not expecting a shotgunner there around the corner.
Rule the day.
Alrighty.
I ain't dead. Oh.
Oh, another nugget of truth. The Gatling gun, built by Richard Gatling in 1861, first deployed in combat during the Civil War. The multi-barrel Gatling gun was one of the precursors of the modern machine gun. But unlike modern machine guns, it was not fired automatically, but rather operated by a gunner who had to crank it. During each turn of a hand crank, each barrel fired a single shot, after which it ejected the spent cartridge, loaded a new round, and in the process cooled down. This allowed for a higher rate of fire without the barrel overheating. The Gatling gun offered an unheard of high rate of fire and was relatively easy to reload. In the right hands, they were a devastating weapon. Gatling guns were finally replaced by the self-powered Maxim machine guns that used recoil energy to eject spent cartridges and inserted fresh ones in its prime. However, the Gatling gun was a fearsome weapon.
I'm just getting started. You can't hide.
Suppose no one's shooting me from behind. Oh.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. Turned out that they had me.
Take him out. I'm sending you to hell.
So the
Daltons
vigilantes
had played
betrayed
me
us?
like a
Tough
fiddle.
after all this.
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
They're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all. weren't about to come at me one at a time.
Whew.
They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down.
Oh, are you kidding?
Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
There's no way we survive this. Oh my god. This is gonna suck. I can already tell it's gonna suck. So the other one, the shorter one seems to be the faster one. Darn it.
They got it wrong.
Woo!
A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that
Oh.
Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers. My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
The Wild Bunch, Juarez, 1868.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
That's dark. Led by Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Wild Bunch was the West's last famous outlaw gang. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna go use the litter box and grab a quick snack. Alright, I'm back.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
Well,
they blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Really?
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day. As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could. At times, it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Oh, damn. What was that? Oh, there it is. George Flatnose Curry. George Sutherland Curry, better known as Flatnose Curry, was a mentor for another famous outlaw, Harvey Logan. Logan, who adopted the last name of his more experienced friend, came to be known as Kid Curry, the wildest of the Wild Bunch. Both men robbed banks together and later joined the famous Wild Bunch led by Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Flatnose participated in the famous Union Pacific Overland Flyer train robbery near Wilcox, Wyoming in 1899. Flatnose and Kid Curry delayed the posse formed in the wake of the robbery and killed the marshal in charge. Not a year later, Flatnose was in the business of cattle theft in Utah when his luck ran out. Bullets found him when Sheriff Jesse Tyler tracked him down. Upon hearing the news, Kid Curry decided to avenge his brother from a different mother. He made his way to Utah and killed Sheriff Taylor and his deputy in a bloody shootout. Well, which way? Oh, the ladder.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Joe Lefkowitz, Jeff Carr, Tim Keller, Leslie, Kid Curry, Butch Cassidy, and Sundance Kid.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that?
That's kind of nice.
Take cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! He calls down the
Oh, another neat nugget of truth. Alright, Hole in the Wall was the name of a secluded hideout in the Big Horn Mountains in the northern Wyoming. It was used towards the end of the 19th century by various outlaw gangs looking to disappear. The location was ideal. It was perfectly defensible place, nearly impossible to take by force, and equally difficult to sneak up on without alerting its inhabitants. The hideout was also well equipped and provisioned. Permanent huts provided shelter during harsh winters. During the hole's golden years, there was even stables, a corral with animals, and a storehouse full of food, which everyone did their best to replenish. The best known inhabitants of the Hole in the Wall were without a doubt members of the appropriately named Hole in the Wall gang, led by Butch Cassidy. They were also known as the Wild Bunch, but all sorts of criminal gangs and outlaws on the I'm called the Hole in the Wall home.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail. Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry. And maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
So pretty much almost everybody in the gang. I might not have enough speed here. Darn it! I did really bad here. Damn it. Darn it! He's making it really hard. I don't like this guy. His moving around is making it really hard to focus on both. Damn it!
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry. And maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
God damn it. Come on, man. Ah. Okay.
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid
I think
Curry,
no matter what, I have
and
to
maybe
try and
Elsie
dodge
Lay.
a bullet.
Though some folks might dispute that.
Yeah, there's no way. There we
that
go.
very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
So as Greaves claims that his relentless pursuit of Bob Bryant forced the leaders of the Wild Bunch to flee to South America.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he?
Don't let him hear you.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado. Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down. Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry.
Butch Cassidy, Robert Leroy Parker, adopted the name Cassidy in honor of his mentor Mike Cassidy. The nickname Butch was earned when he worked as a butcher in Rock Springs, Wyoming. History remembers him not as a rancher or a butcher, but rather as a leader of one of the Wild West's most notorious gangs. It was known as the Wild Bunch. By some others called him the Hole in the Wall gang. Butch was considered calm and sensible for a man of his profession, and because of that, the Wild Bunch boasted the longest streak of successful bank and train robberies in history. Today, Butch Cassidy is always remembered together with his friend and partner, the Sundance Kid. Both were forced to leave the county to take refuge in Bolivia. That is also where they died in 1908, surrounded in their own house by a band of Bolivian soldiers and officers. One of the two. It's impossible to know who killed his wounded friend and then committed suicide. It was never proven beyond any doubt that the two dead Americans were indeed Cassidy and Sundance. One version of the story has Cassidy returning to the United States under a false name to die late as 1936. One thing is certain, though: both men are now as most definitely dead, even as their legend lives on.
I could sense them close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
You like that?
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. property of the Union Pacific. The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports. Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me.
Can't trust Fat Sally, you see that?
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
The Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Yes, there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
Don't you blow us up now. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Think we're good?
Ready to meet your maker. It's time to handle it.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Bitch is killing everyone.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
Whew. Okay, those armored shotgun guys suck.
These creatures in the cat on the roof full of
So I proceeded onward and realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Alright, climbing up. Looks like that was pointless. Oh, but it got me this. Kid Curry. Harvey Logan, aka Kid Curry, was known as the wildest of the Wild Bunch. He earned the honor because of his cold and merciless behavior. He never hesitated before shooting anyone and would go out of his way to always have his revenge. William Pinkerton, who took charge of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency after the death of his father, wrote this about him. He was not one single redeeming feature. He is the only criminal I know of who does not have a single good point. Before joining the Wild Bunch, he used to ride with the gang of Blackjack Ketchum. Ketchum was an infamous criminal, hanged in 1901 for attempting train robbery. The rope used in the hanging was too stiff, and his head was literally torn from his body. Damn. Luckily for those who hung him, Kid Curry left the gang before Blackjack's death. Kid Curry's life mostly ended sometime in 1904 after he was tracked down near Parachute, Colorado, where he had a hand in robbing the Denver and Rio Grande train. Pursued by a posse, the wounded Kid Curry shot himself in the head to avoid being taken alive. Later, it was said that someone else committed the suicide, while Kid left for South America with Cassidy and Sundance. In any case, he was never seen again and likely not missed.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass, as I was not a young man anymore.
Kill that SOB! Make him bleed!
Send him to perdition!
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Gosh darn it. I keep forgetting to use my other thingy. Darn it. Oh, no cover, no nothing. God damn it. We gotta make these count. Alright.
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded. Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Time for you to lay down and die. You can't hide forever. Do you know who I am? Damn! He's not first, damn it! I need some help here. Come on, boys. Take this son of a bitch out. Fix your glass, mistake you'll ever make. Got it. Show yourself, you coward! Are you kidding me? Shit! Give me a hand here, goddammit!
Gonna cut you and eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Okay. Darn it. That was like phenomenal in terms of speed. I guess it has to be a good combination of both. You can't just have the speed. God damn it. It's like so much harder to get the focus than it is to get the speed. Oh my god, I missed. No, I think I have them both in the 80s. God damn it.
As he was, I was just a bit faster. And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Son of a gun! I thought it was over!
He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Okay. Which way do they want me to dodge?
He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him. Those were his last words.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James.
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday. I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way.
Okay. Was not expecting
But I
that.
knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this gem.
Western train robbery. On July 15th, 1881, a Chicago Rock Island and Pacific Railroad train left Winston, Missouri. Soon after, it started moving. Jess and Frank James and Wood Height jumped aboard into one of the passenger cars, while Dick Little and Clarence Higg entered the train from the other end. A conductor named William Westfall was collecting tickets in the passenger car at the time. James's brothers believe that in 1875, Westfall transported the Pinkerton gang, who attacked their mother's house, wounded her, and killing their half-brother Jess. Shot him in the back without warning, then approached him and shot him in the head. In that moment, Frank killed one of the other passengers who may have decided to play hero and interfere with Jesse's shooting at Westfall. The train robbery was not as profitable as expected. The outlaws collected a mere $650. Infuriated, they jumped off the train and escaped. A posse pursued them, but James brothers and their gang were gone with the wind. The meager haul led to decisions, and Frank eventually left the gang, leaving Jesse to fend for himself. With the inexperienced outlaws, they were left. Because of the murders and the governor increased the bounty on both of their heads, Jesse recruited others for his gang, including the man who eventually would shoot him in the back for that bounty. Huh.
You know who we are?
Now wait a second. How'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this.
Legend was he could stop the train by staring it down.
They hopped a freight train, having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again, I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Bastard got me.
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
Now what? Oh, I see.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr?
Jim Reed and Belle Starr. Not much is known about Jim Reed, other than the fact that during the Civil War, he was a member of the Quantrill's Raiders, just like the James brothers and Youngers. After the war, he wrote for a time with Sam Starr's gang and later with Jesse Younger gang. He died in 1874 in Paris, Texas, from a gunshot wound. Today, he's probably better known as the first husband of the infamous Belle Starr, the Bandit Queen. They met as teenagers and Belle gave birth to his 2 children. Belle Starr and Myra Maybelle. Shirley Reed Starr also knew the Youngers and the James brothers. After Jim's demise, she turned to banditry, taking part in horse and cattle theft and protecting other criminals, thus earning the moniker of the Queen of the Bandits. The peak of her criminal activities was during her marriage to Sam Starr. It is said that after Jim Reed's death and before she married Starr, she was Cole's Younger's wife for 3 weeks. There's no solid evidence backing that up, however. Belle Starr was famous for her impeccable style. She was usually seen riding her horse side saddle, wearing a stylish black dress, with 2 revolvers and ammo belt around her hips. She died in unusual circumstances 2 days before her 41st birthday in 1889. An unknown murderer shot Belle off the horse she was riding with a shotgun, then shot her again. The bushwhacker's identity is still a mystery. Starr's own son is among the prime suspects, as the Bandit Queen was as tough a woman to live with. Said son was a bandit himself, and then became a lawman only to die in a saloon shootout 1896. His sister Pearl plied the world's oldest trade and ran a brothel in Fort Smith, Arkansas, from the 1890s until the First World War.
Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof. At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!" Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember it.
I bet you are.
This asshole don't know
Oh.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward. I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
God damn it. I gotta use my thingy more. My quick bullet time stuff. Darn it. There's a lot of explosives there. Darn it, that was the wrong way.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself. There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day. It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train. I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford. Yeah, Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah,
I
I
am
didn't kill Jesse James.
Shocked that I got him
Just
there.
wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
Jesse James was murdered in 1882 by Robert Ford, and the survivors of his gang rallied around his less well-known brother Frank.
After my showdown with Jesse, I continued to track his brother, Frank, and that sumbitch Jim. I followed those bastards into the high mountains as they were going to ground.
What mountains would that be?
Somewhere in the Ozarks, I believe. The perfect place to hide out from the authorities. In fact, before I could find them, some Indians who fled the res and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were. Indians? They could have been Cheyenne.
Oh, what the hell?
There was
Where'd you
all
come from?
sorts of renegades roaming the landscape back then.
Where's that third guy? Where you at? God damn it. Get wrecked. Okay, I don't know how those first two shots missed him. Well, the first shot hit him. But the second
About
one, I
another
don't know.
whiskey, Ben. Nothing better to soothe the troubled soul. Now, where was I? Indians, right. I had more than my share of run-ins with the Red Man.
American Civil War. American Civil War, also known as the War Between the States, was a fraternal conflict fought between 1861 and 1865. On the side, one side was the United States of America, also known as the Union of the North, or the North, and the other side, several slave states succeeded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America, or the South. The North prevailed thanks to its industrial power and its advantage in numbers. The Civil War was among the world's first truly modern wars, utilizing railroads, telegraph lines, steamboats, devastating artillery, and mass-produced repeater weapons. Of all the wars America participated in, the Civil War repeated the bloodiest harvest, costing the lives of 620,000 men. Its conclusion was also the beginning of the golden age of the Wild West. Western expansion increased as railroads brought settlers west at an accelerated pace. The Native Americans were finally pushed from their lands and shut off to reservation as the cattle business and mining operations boomed. Many of the veterans of the war, damaged by the carnage they saw and participated in, moved west for the new opportunities. Quite a few fell into a life of crime. Many rebel soldiers, bitter over the defeat of the Confederacy, continued to fight the war long after General Lee surrendered. At approximate, they robbed banks and trains owned by Northerners, the James Younger gang being the most famous example, creating legends which have endured to these days.
Like that time, did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Ah, of course I did. In fact, I could still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul. Like that time, did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Ah, of course I did. In fact, I could still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Oh, we're at the camp with the Grey Wolf vision.
Like that time, did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Ah, of course I did. In fact, I can still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul. You will come to this place again and kill many more men. And the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
So, did you ever find it?
Who?
The man you are after.
Let me ask you something, Ben. You ever think about death?
Mr. Greaves, are you all right?
Ooh, death.
I don't know if I want to dual wield in Desperado.
Oh, death. Won't you spare me over till another year? What is this that I can't see with ice cold hands taking hold of me? Well, I am death, none can excel. I'll open the door to heaven or hell.
I'm not gonna lie, the leaves in the water is a very nice touch. This game is gorgeous for a 10-year-old game.
Won't you spare me over till another year? Someone would pray. Could you wait to call me another day? Oh, death, won't you spare me over till another year?
So, are you gonna answer the question?
What question is that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find it?
Reed was indeed that son bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. He was intent on avoiding my vengeance, But nothing was gonna stop me. Nothing. I finally did track those outlaws down. They had long rifles with scopes and were well positioned to pick off any poor soul who came anywhere close.
Darn it. Didn't even have a chance to like actually dodge that. Stuck? The hell?
I'm guessing Frank James believed I was responsible for the demise of his brother Jesse. I couldn't really disagree with the man, as I thought Jesse was dead then as well. He backed off as I closed in on him, but he was still intent on killing me. And when I closed in on him again, he backed off again, looking for a better angle on me.
Oh, I'm guessing this is just a chase down.
Hell, I can't fault Frank for wanting his revenge, as I was there for the same damn reason myself. At this point, I'm guessing you think Silas Greaves is a worse murderer than Jim Reed ever was.
No, sir.
A man who spent half his life killing somebody's brothers, fathers, sons.
I think you were just looking for justice, sir.
Is that what I was looking for, Dwight? Is that what it was? Justice?
Isn't that why you were hunting the James gang?
The James gang. Right. I finally found Frank holed up in his mountain cabin, and he was determined to have me dead. It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
On your person.
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared. It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite. On your person.
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared.
Right.
I'm just laying out the facts as I remember them, Jack. Shack? Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life. Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will. At this point, I just don't give a shit.
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him. I never did like that bastard. I am done here.
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.
We got a nugget of truth there. Frank James. Frank James, Alexander Franklin James, is remembered primarily as Jesse James' older brother, a guerrilla fighter during the Civil War and co-leader of the James Younger gang. During the war, he joined the ranks of Quittrell's Rangers and allegedly participated in the infamous massacre of 200 men and boys in Lawrence, Kansas. He continued his war against the Union by robbing banks and trains. 5 months after his brother's murder, Frank James surrendered to the governor of Missouri, saying, "I have been hunted for 21 years. I've literally lived in the saddle, have never known a day of perfect peace. It was one long, anxious, inexorable, eternal vigil." He then ended his statement by saying, "Governor, I haven't let another man touch my gun since 1861. To everyone's surprise, he was never sentenced for his crimes." He died at a respectable age of 72 in 1915 after trying his hand at many different jobs, including offering guided tours of the James family farm for 25 cents a pop. So he became a tour guide.
So what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookouts, as I was determined not to let that murderer escape my revenge again.
God damn it. Missing all my shots. How did I survive? Yeah, we could go with revolver capacity increase.
But rather than wander in willy-nilly, I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. "Hey, Reed!" I shouted. "No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr. While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole Younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but very friendly. At least she was to me."
Son of a bitch!
It was then that the last bunch of bandits jumped out of hiding.
Why won't this asshole give up? Someone please kill him.
Eventually, it was just me and Reed. I had waited a long time to face him down, so I could repay him for what he did to my brothers.
Damn it. Actually, that wasn't half bad. considering how much time they give us, they probably want better than that. Darn it.
And repay him I did.
Woo.
Well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat.
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame he never had to pay.
Well, funny thing about that, I did have one more chance at him.
Back to episode 7, The Wild Bunch.
6 months ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob Bryant had returned with them.
So you're saying they didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
40 years I had waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of demons could have stopped me now.
Okay, not what I was expecting. It like switched up from quick time event to like.
Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly. But the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant, that son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he had to be close to 70.
For all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind, as did others. For instance, did my thirst for vengeance turn me into something worse than the man I was after? By this point in my storied career, I had killed more men than Bob Bryant ever had. I was furious as hell at that bastard for making me who I am. A man with no family, no friends. Nothing could stop me from taking
Oh,
his
it's
life.
just shotgunners now.
Been after that killer forever. From the time I rode with Billy the Kid. But that chapter of my story you already know.
Chapter of that fairy tale, you mean?
Suddenly it was 1910. There I was, an old man roaming a ghost town dead almost 2 decades. The town was falling apart. Just like me.
Oh, it's definitely this way. way? No. Oh. Duh.
But I wasn't about to call it quits.
Just what?
Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long ago.
Mr. Graves, are you all right? Would you like some water?
The Wild Bunch knew I was there. They were after a treasure they had hidden before they fled, buried in the grave of a dead amigo. Some folks think the town is haunted, so they figured there wouldn't be many people poking around. I intended to fill that grave with Bob Bryant's corpse. But like I said, the bandits knew I was on to them.
Sundance Kid. Harry Alonzo Longaban earned his moniker by serving an 18-month sentence for horse thievery in Sundance, Wyoming. At the age of 15, his fame, however, was won alongside Butch Cassidy as a member of the Wild Bunch. He was often called a gunfighter, but there is not a single death by shooting which can be easily attributed by the Sundance Kid. It is quite possible that the newspaper of the time mistook another truly murderous member of the bunch, Harvey Logan, aka Kid Curry, for Sundance. Together with his wife Etta Place and Butch Cassidy, they fled the U.S. and the authorities in pursuit of them to hide out in South America. There in Bolivia, he allegedly died alongside his friend in 1908. We cannot be sure, though, as there are those who believe that Longbark returned to the United States and lived for many years under a different name. His story will forever remain a mystery.
They lured me in and hit me with everything they had.
Reload while sprinting. Where did I go from?
Obviously prevailed since you said you had Mr. Dave.
Actually, in that moment, I did not prevail.
So I suppose we're talking to a ghost.
Funny you should put it like that, Jack.
Oh.
Because when I woke up...
From the dead?
There was silence all around me. I could swear to God I saw Billy then.
Billy who?
Billy, the kid. William Bonney. He was shooting at me from a rooftop. Here, there, even over there.
So I am right. You are touched in the head.
Mr. Greaves, perhaps we should switch you to coffee?
You see that old Indian again, too?
No, but I did see Billy's killer. Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me, guns a-blazing. But I knew that old war horse had died 2 years before. I wondered if maybe I was dead too and confronting the ghosts of my past. Perhaps all my sins were coming back to haunt me and drag me down to perdition.
God damn it. Now I gotta fight all those ghosts.
I saw Henry Plummer throw dynamite at me.
God damn it. Damn it. It's like hard as hell to see them with the fog and everything. Darn it. God damn it. I don't like where they put me too. Like they're forcing me to be all the way up there for some reason. Oh my god, are you kidding me right now? Alright, I know what I'm gonna do. Enough is enough. God damn it.
In the gates of the cemetery, I saw John Wesley Hardin, just like I remembered him.
Oh, come on, man. Like, there's nowhere for cover. This is ridiculous. This is just frustrating. There we go. God, that was so much BS.
Robert Ollinger appeared with his terrible double-barrel shotgun.
What the hell? Okay. No, are you kidding me? Why did they not give me a checkpoint up there? That's so ridiculous. All right.
But no ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a fallen branch. He spent the rest of his life talking to dogs.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead. The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond.
God damn it.
The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond. Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed. Each one deader than the next. I thought I would go crazy.
Thought?
Finally, I saw Harry Alonzo Longabaugh.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his legion of the dead.
You told us before that you seen alive.
He was alive.
God damn it. I really hate these armored shotgun guys. God damn it.
Voice called to me from afar. It was Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog.
Thanks for taking care of that bastard.
Butch Cassidy. Sundance Kid. Silent Trees, the good, the bad, and the dead.
But the kid wasn't quite deceased. Not yet.
Takes more than one little bullet to kill the likes of me, partner.
Those two looked like they hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you.
You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them about Bob Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life?
You frittered it all away, Butch. Edda's mine. So is that damn money.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question. But those boys didn't give me much of a choice.
How is this gonna go down? I messed up bad. I messed up real bad. God damn it. Oh, this is gonna be so annoying. I messed up. Oh, come on. It was better, but this is gonna take a lot of work. Son of a... Oh! Alright. Damn it, I shot too soon. That was it though. That should have hit him though. It looked like it went to his leg. Come on. That was a near 100%. Like, they should have given me plenty of time to try and dodge that. This is terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. Like, I don't know what I was doing there. Shot the wrong guy. God damn it. That was mostly because I fat fingered it and switched at the end there. Nothing for nothing. I don't think I should have died there, but that's fine. Like, they didn't even give me a chance to react. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. So once I shoot that one, I see. Darn it. Oh, this is gonna be really annoying. Wrong button.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Whew. Those are tough, man. Those are real tough. Grey Wolf, the Apache medicine man, offers Silas a mysterious warning, cautioning him not to wallow in the poison of bitterness and hate. Silas Greaves claims that his relentless pursuit of Bob Bryan forced the leader of the Wild Bunch to flee to South America.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were killed by the Bolivian army. Everybody knows that.
That's the legend, but it ain't the truth.
So, you never found Bob? There is no Bob. This old sumbitch ain't even Silas Greaves.
Sir, is that true? Have you been pulling our legs this whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
Oh man, I think you've worn out your welcome here.
Maybe you're right, Jack. Maybe it's time to pay. You see, Ben, or should I say Bob, your past always catches up with you.
I was a different man back then, crazy. Drinking, I've changed my ways, I swear to you. If I could turn back the clock,
But you can't, Bob.
Oh, redemption or revanche? Revenge.
Why'd you toy with me like that? Telling those tales, knowing all along. Why not just lay your cards on the table?
Here. I won't have it said that I left you with nothing.
That's how you want it? So be it.
Holy shit!
Right, Molly, move against that wall. Go!
Oh my god! Oh, Jesus!
Did you know it was him all along?
Cassidy told me Bob was in Abilene before he died. But I wasn't sure Ben was my man until he revealed how much he knew about Ringo and Reed. The coin, of course. Well, that was the last nail in that particular coffin.
I better go get the sheriff.
You okay, boy? You look a mite shook up.
Dwight, maybe you best go home. Young Eisenhower here is leaving for West Point tomorrow. He shouldn't get caught up in something like this.
I think I might head out myself at this juncture. Unless you want to stop me, Jack.
No, sir, Mr. Greaves.
So where you going now? Now that you had your revenge?
Doesn't really matter, does it? As I've sold my soul for it, and will never again walk with those I have lost.
Oh. I wonder if we can go back and see the other ending. Oh man. Alright, final thoughts. This game is good. For a 10-year-old game, it looks great for one, and it plays so good, man. This game is so good. Oh man. And the best part about it is, now that we've played the franchise, I can honestly say you guys can skip the first game. The first game is not good. It's terrible, honestly, in every aspect. It does not hold up at all. It's well over 10 years old, that game. Second game is decent, worth playing. It's not bad. It's alright. The story's okay, and so on. But this one is by far the best. The story narration is really well done. The gameplay itself is extremely well done. Man, it's a shame it's been 10 years since they made another one of these. They really got to make another game. They really need to do something else with this franchise. And it's like, this game is a perfect example of like, you don't need, which is the problem with nowadays, everything's like open world. You don't need an open world game. If they can make another like shooter like this, linear and so on, like, it would be great. This is so good. This is so well done. Like, damn. Can't believe how good this game was. I'm still like, the story was good. It was a lot of BS stuff, but it was so good. It was so well told. Oh man, and it played so good.
There are men who fear legends, but a man legends fear. He's a four-hosted reaper, crying bullets for tears. When a drought comes in justice, bullets make good rain. When the heartache has dried up, only blood heals the pain. There's a time for grieving, and a time to just pray. There's a time for forgiving, but it's not for today. You can hide sins from the gavel, you can drown them in rum. When silence grease finds you, there's nowhere to run. And time goes too slowly for the gunslinger's eye. Till he's buried his promise, there's no time to cry. There's a time for grieving, and a time to just pray. There's a time for forgiving, but it's not for today. There's a time for grieving, and a time to just pray. When silence grease finds you, it's a time you must pay. That's a time you must pay.
That was so good. I really hope it lets us go back so we can see what the other ending is. I'm assuming the redemption is just like he just walks out of the thing and just doesn't kill the guy.
Oh, damn. Won't you spare me over till another year?
Gunslinger babies! Only 3. There was a lot of work and not enough lovemaking, unfortunately. Yeah, I'd have to play the whole level all over. Siege. That was awesome, though. That was extremely awesome. I am gonna go ahead and send you guys over to somebody else. They are playing